little mini road trip here. And we're heading to the beautiful nearby city of Kutaisi. Welcome back, everyone. Back to Batumi, Georgia. It's a beautiful day here in Batumi, as you can see here. Actually, on the stairwell here, the apartment where we've been staying. And today, actually, we're heading out of the city. We're going to be going to just down the street, rent a car, and we're heading to the beautiful nearby city of Kutaisi. We're going to be there for a few days. There's some interesting stuff to check out there. We're going to make more than a few videos from Kutaisi and the area around there. So first we got to get there. So come along. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you want to help out the channel and help it grow, I really would appreciate it. Click on the like button down there, the subscribe button, and the little bell next to it to be notified for when new videos drop. It really helps the channel grow because it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this content and spread it to other YouTube viewers. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I would appreciate that as well. You can leave a super thanks by clicking this thanks button here and give a small donation to the channel. I appreciate your support. So back to the video, enjoy. So we said in our first video that we made here from Batumi that Batumi is like a very new city as far as the construction. A lot of the big skyscrapers and buildings that have gone up in Batumi have really gone up in the last like 20 years. So Batumi is a very new city with new construction. Kutaisi is kind of the opposite. From what I've heard, it's like a much older city with like a older construction, lots of like old like construction to see, old buildings, stuff like that. So I think it's gonna have a very different vibe, and I'm interested to see it. I'm also like pretty excited to go on a little mini road trip here. We did that when we were in Tbilisi up to Stepantsminda, and it was really fun. Link to those videos down in the description. And luckily for us, actually, the rental car company, which was a good experience in Tbilisi, they have a office here in Batumi. So we're renting from the same company. All right, let's get across this big street here, and we will get our rental car and we'll hit the road. So I gotta say here, the rental car experience that we had with this company in Tbilisi was excellent. We got a pretty new car with low mileage. It was a very easy process to pick it up, and like no problems whatsoever. The experience here in Batumi was a little bit different. First off, the location as far as like on Google Maps was a little like questionable. Like we didn't know exactly where it was located. So I thought it was going to be here on this street, and according to Google Maps, it was like the address showed it as here on this street, but there was another location popping up in a different place on Google Maps. So I actually texted on WhatsApp the customer service that I had for the company, and they told me that yes, this here is the location. When I arrived, this is not the location. This is like their old office, and this is closed. So I actually got in touch with the guy who was supposed to be actually renting me the car, and he said, oh, I'll just drive it over for you. So he arrived a few minutes later, and this was the car. It is a BMW. We actually had reserved a Subaru. I like to reserve Subarus because they have all-wheel drive, and you never know, like in Georgia, if you're going to be going off on a dirt road or something. So it's nice to have all-wheel drive. But he showed up in this BMW, which I thought was nice. You know, it's a nice looking BMW. But as like we looked at it a little closer, it had some problems. There was some body damage here. Also, there were some warning lights on. This one here is a low tire pressure light, which is not that big of a deal. But this one here, I found out later, like, 100 kilometers into the drive, that this is actually a transmission warning light. So the car itself also was like kind of old. It had over 100,000 kilometers on it. When we received it, it was, it only had half a tank of gas, and it was pretty dirty. You can see from like the window here, the car was pretty dirty when we received it. So not exactly the best experience, although the car ended up being a little trooper, and we didn't have any problems during the trip. Well, took a little sidetrack. Got off the road here, off the highway, in this beautiful spot. Right here by the Black Sea. We're in Ureki. And Ureki is it's actually one of the towns, one of the smaller towns here along the coast, along the Black Sea, north of Batumi. And it's where the train actually that we took from Tbilisi, where it like stops here and then turns and goes south down towards Batumi. And actually we're going to be making a turn to go east towards Kutaisi. But before we do, we can come down here, check out the beautiful Black Sea. There it is. Black Sea. Beautiful. These beautiful like black sand beaches. You know, the beach in Batumi is like a rock beach. It's not a sand beach. It's kind of cool. You can come up here a little bit further north to like Ureki, and you can have a sand beach. You can see some people out here enjoying the beach. But our trip up to Kutaisi, the reason you have to go north on the highway is because there's really no way. There's like a row of mountains that sort of run here in between Kutaisi and Batumi. So there's no real direct way to go from Batumi to Kutaisi. So if you want to get there, you got to go up along the coast till you get to here. And then there's another highway that goes inland, back towards Kutaisi. Really kind of excited to see Kutaisi. You know, I've heard a lot of things about it. There's actually a blog that I've been like getting a lot of really good information from. The blog's called Wanderlush, and from someone, the blogger, she lives in Georgia. And I think lives in Kutaisi, or lived in Kutaisi for a time. And a lot of good information. A link to that blog down in the description, so you can get more information if you need to, if you're thinking about visiting Georgia. It's been a really good resource for me. But I'm really interested in seeing Kutaisi. Sounds like a pretty cool city. And I knew that I was out here in western Georgia visiting Batumi. It was only going to be like a short drive, maybe like 2.5 hours drive to get from Batumi over to Kutaisi, where we can check it out. So we'll leave the beach now, and we get back in our little mule. This time we got this guy right here, our little mule. There he is, BMW. It's nice. Had rented a Subaru, but they didn't have it available, so they gave me a BMW. I'm not complaining. Anyway, it's time we get back on the road, take our turn, we head inland. Next thing you know, we're going to be in Kutaisi. So we got on the highway here, and one of the things about the trip over to Kutaisi is the highway is actually very new, and in some parts it's actually unfinished, which was actually sort of a blessing in disguise because we got diverted off of the highway at a certain point and had to take like back roads, which was actually a really cool experience. Taking back roads instead of the highway allowed me to see like a lot more just stuff. I mean, you're driving through like little villages, past like little schoolhouses and stuff like that. Very cool. Now, one of the things that we saw quite often on the back roads were actually cows. You can see right here, there's actually a warning sign along the side of the road warning for cows. And that is actually a good thing because we saw a lot of cows. I unfortunately was not able to catch any of them on video, but man, there were times where we had to just stop the car completely and allow like a whole herd of cows to pass us on the road. A very interesting and kind of a fun experience on the back roads here between like Batumi over to Kutaisi. Kind of a cool thing on this back road as well was we were right next to the railroad tracks, and this is the train tracks that we were on when we took our train from Tbilisi out to Batumi. So I actually saw this road out here that we're driving on, like out the window when we were on the train, and able to see some of the villages that we went through during the train ride, but to see them from the road, from the car. So that was kind of cool. So we were actually on those back roads for quite a while, and eventually were able to get back onto the freeway. Like I said, the freeway is very new. It's not finished in all parts, but as you get closer to Kutaisi, like going near the Kutaisi airport and things like that, you definitely get back on the highway. Eventually, we were able to get off the highway in like the area of Kutaisi itself and get into the city a little bit and try and find exactly where it is that we're staying here in Kutaisi. And it's a nice little place, this sort of tucked away off of one of the roads near the city center. Just a nice place that we stayed for a couple of nights. Very nice hosts, very friendly. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So we arrived here in Kutaisi, the place where we're staying, and got all checked in, all set, ready to go. Able to find it. It's up in like a really, I don't know, kind of like windy road area, lots of windy roads. Managed to find a place to park, which is really nice. And I think that's going to do it for this video. We are going to be exploring Kutaisi and some interesting places around Kutaisi in future videos. So make sure you come back for those. There's a lot of cool stuff to see in and around this city, and I'm super excited to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one.